In hell with the hippies and the cowboys.
Welcome in, gentlemen. We are excited to have you on, and we want to get started by asking the question. Well, first, we wanted to try to have you guys about a week ago on Valentine's. So we really wanted to have you two lovebirds on that day, but we just weren't able to make it out for some technical difficulties. We're not going to blame anybody, Darren, about that.
I mean, it could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody, but we're about a week outside of Valentine. But again, we're so grateful to have you both on here. But we wanted to get started and just know how you two guys met.
So we met officially at the 2008 IPIA convention. I had started my business in Salt Lake, Summit Ice, and it was my first convention going to the IPA since I had started the business. And so I thought I'd be friendly, and Darren was with another colleague of his. And so I thought I'd go up and introduce myself. And when I did so, I introduced myself very friendly and just said, hey, look, if y'all ever are interested in selling out the market that I operate in Salt Lake City, I'd love to talk to you about that. And so Darren just kind of looked at me and smiled and gave me a pat on the back and said, look, we typically do the buying. So that was the first time I met. And I kid Darren to this day. And I said, man, you were the reason that I competed so hard aggressively against you guys. And Darren likes to say that, I tell that story and he goes, yeah, I said, man, I hate to use the word hate, but I said, I strongly disliked you. Darren likes to say, yeah, I didn't think too much of it. So I was like, man, you didn't even care.
Well, to add a little color to that, Brian walks up and he's younger. He's a nice looking, energetic kid. He walks up and he says, hey, I've heard a lot about you. My name's Brian Washnock. I work, and I had heard a lot about him as well. And then he proceeds to tell me how much market share he's taking from us. And then that's when the lead in was, well, hey, do you guys, ever want to sell? And so you have to put it in context. And I was like, that's pretty aggressive for someone walking up. But, I think the feeling was mutual. I think, I think we're a little bit standoffish at first, but then what was it, 5 years later?
Yeah. So the funny thing was we both have a mutual friend, very close friend of both of ours, a gentleman by the name of Alan Butcher in the industry. And Alan, somebody I highly respect and worked with a lot. I kept going to Alan, and Alan had always said great things about Darren. And I just couldn't understand it because I was like, man, I don't see that in this guy. I was like, Alan, I really respect it. And I'm missing this, man. And so
I think I just snorted, by the way.
Fast forward, Alan and I still have a good joke about that. I was like, man, Alan, I thought you were crazy because I couldn't stand this guy. And now we're brothers.
Yep. So it was not love at first sight, is what I'm hearing.
No. I think it was earned, but 5 years later, it was a little less than that actually. But in 2013, we met again, and I had the pleasure of working with Brian when he was selling his company, and so we met. We started doing the diligence, and then we had 5 days to get it done. I logged out 5 days to get all the diligence done. And I told my team, I said, if we get everything done, we'll be able to go skiing on the 5th day. And so we worked late. We got everything done. And Friday, it was time to go skiing. This was in Salt Lake City. The snow was coming down like crazy that day. Brian walks up and says, you guys aren't going to be able to make it in your little rental car. And so he said, here are my keys. But then he met us later at the ski shop. And he says, in addition to my truck that you can take up there, here are some lift tickets. And I thought, this guy's really cool. We've been working with him closely all week. He took care of us. That's just the generosity of Brian. And it was a friendship from then on.
Well, before we get into the formal introduction, what I just heard is it took you buying him out for you guys to be friends. So it took.
I'm not about buying friends. Don't get me wrong.
Well, for everyone that doesn't know both of these guys, let me go ahead and introduce. Up top, we have Brian Washnock, who is a regional vice president with Reddy Ice, based in Dallas, Texas. And then Darren Boruff is the chief acquisition manager for Easy Ice, based in Michigan. And we're happy to have you guys here together. You both have a history in the ice industry, and we just view this as a good opportunity for you guys to share some stories and share some advice and some pearls of wisdom, I suppose, for people all across the packaged ice industry. So I'm going to ask Darren to go first. Will you tell us a little bit about your company and your role with the company that you serve right now?
Yeah. Little history. I grew up in the ice machine business. My father started one in the early 60s. I worked there as a kid, going to get tools and repairing machines and helping out any way I could. We grew that, and then I ended up opening up a packaged ice company with him. And then I sold that company to Reddy Ice years later and joined their management team. And then a guy named Mark Hangen walks in with an idea of opening up an ice machine leasing company. And so I met Mark when we first started. I worked with Mark and John and some others to grow the business. And then we parted ways. Years later, Mark and I talked, and it was time to try to grow Easy Ice. And he said, "I'd like to have you come on board." All the stars aligned, so I joined Easy Ice just over 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago, and been there ever since. So kind of grew up in the ice machine business, opened up a packaged ice company, ran it for a while, sold it to Reddy Ice. Now I'm back where I started, kind of come full circle. Feels pretty cool to be back, doing what I've done, pretty much my whole life. So that's kind of where I am with Easy Ice. I'm the chief acquisitions officer. We're growing from several different levers, a lot of organic stuff. And then, acquisitions is always, is obviously playing a part as we grow on. So we're an ice machine subscription company, ice machine leasing company, a little different from the packaged ice side. They're tangential industries, but different for sure. But that's what I do at Easy Ice.
Very cool. And Brian, why don't you go ahead and tell us about you and your position with Reddy?
Yeah. So when I sold, you had a couple jobs ago, Jeff. When I sold, I came on to Reddy. Had actually met Deb Conklin, our prior CEO, when she was with our prior private equity sponsor, Centerbridge, and really liked her. And so had no ambition of coming into the company, was going to do something different. Had done, ice pretty much my whole career, and decided to come on board. And so I became on board as a regional vice president, moved from Salt Lake to Charleston, South Carolina to run the region. And then since then, and actually Darren was the impetus when he left and took the job with Easy Ice. I actually went into his old role, and now I'm their chief development officer and do all of our mergers and acquisitions, and then our partners, our different co-packers and distributors fall in my group too. So that's what I do now.
Well, very cool.
Yeah, so I want to turn over to something. So as you guys know, we just our lead in with you guys. That's the first time we've ever had some music that come in. We had a little birdie that kind of told us a little bit about the hippie and the cowboys, and you guys moniker, and how did you guys get? I guess we'll start with Darren. What makes Brian the hippie? What is what gets him that title?
Look at him.
Hey man, I got a haircut and I shaved. This is the most clean cut I've been.
No, I think it came after mine, and we're both Cody Jinks fans. We've seen Cody Jinks several times. We've traveled, a few places, seen some cool concerts, and that song came out about the same time that they were calling, people, some people are calling me the cowboy, and it would just seem to make sense that it's the hippie and the cowboy. He likes music. He's very personable, very cool guy to hang around, and I think hippie just fits.
Yeah, and Darren one of his many talents, amongst many things, he's actually a pretty darn good singer. So he likes to, when his song comes on, he makes a pretty big show about the hippie and the cowboy. So we usually play that part, but it's been a lot of fun actually going to those concerts.
Well, we should have prepared a little bit better and, brought in a karaoke track and let him just.
I'm telling you, if he knows that he can sing it, he'll belt it out, man, and he's not shy.
Did you mention this as I was transitioning to a slide? Did you guys mention? I heard that you guys went to Red Rocks in Colorado and saw him. Have you only seen him one time or multiple times?
Several times.
I've never heard of Cody Jinks. I'm not a huge country fan, but I had not heard about him.
Good Fort Worth guy. Yeah, has been around quite a bit. Kind of that outlaw Americana type genre. Kind of doing it his own way, but has a lot of great hits. And Hippies and Cowboys is just one of many of our favorites. But yeah, we've seen him multiple times. We had a Red Rocks weekend, Red Rocks actually / NFL weekend. We did that all in one weekend some months back this fall, and then we've seen him in Dallas and I think one other place, Darren. So I forget. We go to we do quite a bit of stuff together.
Yeah, he. So, with the Red Rocks, I mean, I've been up there a time or two. That I've never heard of or I've never been there during a show or anything, but it's beautiful. My family and I have been able to go a couple of times. That's just a great place to visit without a show. I can only imagine how great it sounds and the venue, during a concert.
Yeah, it's a great venue. Highly recommend it. We've seen a couple shows there. It's just it's a cool place. Outdoors, Colorado, air's clean. It's tough to beat.
Yeah, his website that we were showing just a few minutes ago with Cody Jinks was just, pretty awesome.
Yeah, he really is.
So we have heard that you guys have had all kinds of adventures together. Why don't you take a moment and just tell us the most memorable or some of your favorite trips that you've gone
with the bromance. That's right.
Gosh, that's a hard one, Darren. Yeah, I think, Darren, that's just you fishing at your ranch there, I believe.
Yeah, I got a little place east of here. Brian and I spent some time there, have a lake out there, boating, having fun, wake surfing, sea doing. We spent a lot of time out there, had a lot of good times. That's
Darren taught me the art of how you hold a fish to make it look as big as it possibly can. He's taught me that over the years. That thing's only about 6 inches long, but it looks about 2 feet long.
It's all in the angles. It's really about a 1 pound fish, but no, that's actually a decent fish.
There you go. Yeah. That's on my boat in Charleston. I had in undergrad, I went to South Carolina, and Darren instructed me, he said, you got to get me a T-shirt, and I want the T-shirt to say this and only this. And so I had just given him the T-shirt, and we were out on the boat and doing a little fishing that day.
I didn't think you were supposed to wear red and pink together, but I mean, I don't think that's what you're going for.
You'll notice with the cowboy, he's a trendsetter, and he can pull anything off, and he'll own it too. He'll own it.
That's Telluride. It was summer of 2020, I believe.
Even matching hats. That's impressive. I like it.
In this picture, you guys, your beards are even trimmed almost similar to where I don't know if you could really call him a hippie when you're about even right there.
Yeah, this is a funny story. I don't know if you remember, Darren, but we were Darren and a good buddy of his that took us fly fishing down in one of the local rivers there in Telluride. And I had went up to Darren's truck to get something, and we had passed each other. Darren was down in the creek, and we were there alone. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and a woman and looked like her boyfriend and a bunch of dogs that came. And I had said hi and went back down in the river and started fishing and drinking beer, whatever we were doing. And a little bit later, Darren went up and he's like, "Hey, man, did you see that was Hillary Swank up there?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I talked to her. I didn't even know who it was." And so Darren hit it off, and I think slid in her DMs, and I think they're good buddies to this day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you never know what's going to happen with the cowboy out on an adventure. Hillary Swank that day.
Never know. All right, so we got a concert. Where were you guys? Is that
Red Rocks?
That's Red Rocks, Cody Jinks.
Yeah. That
Okay,
was
so
a
that is
cool,
that
cool
is the
night.
event. So
That is
very
it.
good.
That
We
looks
get a
like,
common theme here.
That's Telluride.
yeah.
The winter storm in Telluride. We were skiing up there. I don't remember when it was, but we've
Yeah.
had some good times there, no doubt.
Yeah, Telluride, I've been there. It's one of the first places I've ever been skiing before that you look around and you're smaller than every other peak. Normally you're on the high side and
Yeah.
other places in Colorado, but Telluride, you still feel like a bit of a small fry, even though you're on the mountain there. But all the other places, beautiful, beautiful place. So we still at Telluride, or no? I don't think
I
this.
may have been Park City.
Park City, Utah.
That was
Yeah.
Park City, Utah.
Yeah, I was looking at the mountain range behind you. I didn't see anything taller than you. So
Yeah, I was Golden, the Coors Brewing Company. That was, I think that was probably one of the top 10 most hungover days in my life. That was actually the day of Cody Jinks. We decided to act like we were in our 20s again, and had a pretty good drinking day. And I was feeling it that day. That was the day of the concert that evening, actually.
did you try to drink out of that can that we see
Oh,
there? Is
God.
that what you're going for?
I think I drank one beer at the concert that night. The Cowboy, though, I will say, he got back on that horse and he was feeling no pain again. So I was impressed.
I drink water. All right, I drink a lot of water. It helps out. He's still learning.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Looks like, what was that, Destin?
That's Destin. Yeah, Seaside.
Yeah.
We spent some time down there. Seaside's a beautiful place. One of the prettiest beaches. Close to you, Ethan. I know you probably go down to the Redneck Riviera quite often.
I do. My daughter was actually just down. They were supposed to be running a half marathon, but her and her boyfriend both, he got injured. She got sick trying to get training for it. And then it just turned into an anniversary weekend, which I think really was what they wanted anyway. So anyway, but yeah, Seaside's beautiful. So the water, and it doesn't give justice what you see here, because it looks like you were on a hazy day, but the water is just beautiful. Down
the storms were coming in. It was an abnormal day. It was cold. Storms are coming in. That's why the water is what it is. But
yeah, beautiful.
Still a good time.
Yeah. Looks like, is that Telluride again?
Yeah, I think we're back in Telluride there.
Yeah.
All right, got you.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, tell me a story here. I need to know, because I like
many talents
myself.
I tell you, if you can envision it, Darren's probably one of the most adventurous persons I know, and he's an expert skier, wakeboarder. And one day we were out there and I said, "Hey man, this is a little too easy for you." I said, "Why don't we start throwing some beers at you and drinking them?" So he was a good sport and could do that pretty proficiently too.
That was going to be my question. I wanted to know if he started with it at the beginning or if he chunked it out, but you did say so.
I think I was tossing it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he chunked it to me. Now the question is, I'm not sure who's driving the boat when he threw it to me, but
probably nobody.
That's another story. Yeah.
It's a big lake.
What lake are you on?
That's Lake Cypress Springs. It's about an hour and a half east of Dallas.
Okay,
beautiful lake.
We got some more mountains here.
That's snowmobiling in Telluride, outside of Telluride.
Yeah.
Right?
That was a blast.
The Cowboy took me my first Cowboys game. That was a Bengals Cowboys game. Unfortunately, we got beat that day. It was expected to be a win, but that was a blast. Met a lot of Darren's good buddies. Had a fun tailgate, and Darren's taking my first Cowboys and Rangers game.
And is this Telluride as well?
That's Telluride. Well, here's the thing with that. The special thing about that, Darren has come up with themes that we've done, and this is. I don't know how we did it. We were driving. I think we were driving to Telluride, and we stayed in Santa Fe. And we were walking around, probably having some brewskis. And he said, "Look, let's buy bolos. We'll be Bolo brothers." And so, of course, if you look closely, we're both wearing our bolos.
Yep.
And if you guys remember, we actually wore them at the IPIA to the offsite. We had our bolos on. So it was known as Bolo Brothers. So theme days, Darren likes to do to have a little fun. So we've had some theme days.
It's amazing how popular they are too. They're back in style. I'm not sure we did that, but we had a hand.
This picture absolutely cracked me up. So I almost thought about leading with it, but I ended with it instead. So.
Oh my!
That's
Forgot
We're
about
not
that one.
off this picture. So.
Central Texas. Yeah, we did a float trip. We saw Ryan Bingham. I mean, a lot of good times, a lot of outdoor, a lot of music, just a lot of good times on weekends.
So we want to jump back over into real quick. Thank you guys for taking us through your bromance there, and it's awesome. So it's good to have buddies, right? Especially close friends. As far as work and just life in general, who are some of your biggest influences in life? Darren, if you don't mind, we'd like to start with you on that one.
Yeah, I'd have to say my parents. Growing up in the ice business and the ice machine business, coming full circle. After college, I worked at a couple different places. Came back, for various reasons, but ended up opening up an ice company. As I said before, sold it to Reddy Ice, and then met Mark Hangen, started an ice machine company. Now I've come full circle back to where I started. It's had a big influence. Not sure, for better or for worse. Here I am, and I think they had obviously an instrumental part in that. But happy to be where I am. I think it's a fantastic industry. Some of the hardest working people I've met. As I said, I think the package ice business is a tangential industry to the ice machine business, but a lot of the people are the same. Several of the companies are generational companies. It's passed down, hard workers, trying to do the best thing we can for the customers. And I'm happy to be a part of it. So I would, from where I am right now, from where I sit, I think my parents had a big input to that.
Yeah. How about you, Brian? Excuse me.
I'd say my mom, from an early age. My parents were divorced at an early age, and my mom, I think, was a good display and showed me about resilience and hard work. And, sometimes you get kicked and you got to get back up. So I think she was a big role model for me, and still is. And then I think I was fortunate to have quite a few mentors in the industry that really helped me out. Some of those folks, some are gone, some, a lot are still around. Guys like, Gary Giroux, Mike Ringstaff, those guys helped me tremendously. Guys that are gone, like Mel Eads, he was a big influence on me, old school ice guy and just an amazing man. John Summers, another guy that was just instrumental in helping me along the way. And there was a lot of other people. And even at Reddy, guys like Steve Janisak, who, quietly kind of goes about, but learned a lot from him. And, lots of people throughout the industry, Alan Butcher, who's a good friend of Darren and I. So I've been really fortunate to have a lot of good folks around that have given me advice. Charlotte McGinnis, I always call her. She's my ice industry mom. I think she's kept me straight. We've known each other for, a long, long time. Just very fortunate. And even, Darren's been very influential, probably more so on a personal side, and has been just a great friend. I call him my brother from another mother. A lot of folks think that we're brothers, so we usually play that off, but he's been very influential and have helped me through some tough times, and just been a great friend for me. So I appreciate that, Cowboy.
No, I appreciate you too. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, people that had a big influence on me in a professional life later on. Reddy Ice, I can't say enough about the people that I've been exposed to and what they've taught me and mentored me as well. From Bill and Ben, Steve, Joe, Paul, Rebecca, Deb, Brian. I can go on and on. Brian's still working with several of them, and now to work with Mark and John. It's I feel very privileged and very blessed to have had the career path I have. It's pretty special, as I've said, to come full circle, but also to be involved with this many quality people that have taught me so much over the past, amazing to say, but 20 years now that I've been involved. So a lot of people have come and gone, but they all leave their mark, and several of them left an indelible mark on me.
Yeah.
Well, as we hear you guys talk about those kind of influences, we know you've been involved in lobbying for the IPIA on behalf of the industry, going, to talk to Congress and that kind of thing. Tell us about that experience. What's that been like?
Darren, lead us off there.
Yeah, Chris Lamond, Ben Keet was the chairman of the IPIA, and he coined the term "ice is food," what you see today. Working with that makes me laugh. But working with Ben, and then he hired a man named Chris Lamond, who's become a personal friend as well. I think we're making strides, providing, solutions to have safe, reliable ice, both in the packaged ice industry, but also the ice machine industry, on how often we need to clean machines, trying to put it front and center to provide safe, reliable ice solutions. And I think we're making strides, with Congress, with the government, but it's a long, tough slog. And I think we'll get there. Anything's we're a lot better than when we started, but I still think there's a lot of work ahead.
I have to tell you, when we were reviewing this subject that we were going to bring up to you guys, and I showed this picture to Jeff, Jeff's like, "Who's that with Darren?"
Exactly. That's the guy that walked up to me in Colorado Springs and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy y'all."
Honest to goodness, had no idea that was Brian.
100%.
I thought it was like some famous politician I didn't recognize or something like.
Yeah, I get that. I think that was, if I remember correctly, that was Lindsey Graham from South Carolina.
Yeah,
I think we were standing next to, and Darren had met with some of his folks too. The funny thing was, and again, always an adventure with the Cowboys. So he knows a lot of people, and so we were. I don't know if it was this time. We've done it a couple times, but the one time, I think it was this time, he said, "Hey, there you go."
That's Pete.
Pete Sessions. Yeah, he said, "Hey, Ben got us into the National Republican Club or something, which I guess is pretty exclusive." And so we got into this club, and I actually wore them last week. Darren got me these cool cufflinks, so it always is a good story to tell. The fun times we had in DC, and it was a great experience lobbying the Hill, and learned a lot through it. It was pretty neat to do.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for giving the audience a little bit of insight of what you guys were doing, and thank you for doing that. So, well, we want to kind of shift back over to more of a personal life, and you guys give us a little bit of insight, with your families. And Brian, we'll go first with you, if you don't mind. What we'll do is we'll start with a picture here, and we'll get started. You can tell us about these folks that we see here.
Yeah, so that's those are my kids. Charlie just turned 11. He's one that looks like the little elf there. And then my daughter Haley, she's 13, and that was this past Christmas.
I want matching suits. I need a suit like this. So
yeah, we may do that next year. I'll have to send you a picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's my other child. That's they say that's my favorite one. That's Emma Jean. Emma Jean is my dog, and just a special dog. I always say I think she's a person sometimes. So really cool. Yeah, she's my third child.
Poodle, or is this
Labradoodle?
Okay, it's got. I mean, we've got one that looks very much like a poodle, but it's a golden doodle. But just fantastic dogs.
Yeah, they're amazing. And there's we call him the Red Rocket. That's his nickname, the Red Rocket. So we typically go up to a Bengals game. Gary Giroux's always really gracious each year and brings us up for a game. And so went usually for around his birthday, and I think that was last year at maybe a playoff game or something. But yeah, pretty fun to go.
I don't think we've talked about this, but I have 3 kids, and they're all redheaded myself, so I'm partial to ginger. So
there you go, the Red Rocket. Yeah, I got him wearing the bandana, sporting his true Willie Nelson. There, I think we were shooting some hoops that day, maybe. Yeah,
absolutely. And you got another one here with him.
Yeah, doing some skiing and snowboarding there. Yeah. And my daughter Haley, she's pretty adventurous too. So she likes to fish, anything outdoors. She'll bait her own hook at the fish. She's become quite the outdoors girl. So she loves it in Charleston. Quite a good that day. No jokes aside, me and a friend were there, and I think probably between us maybe we caught 10 fish, and she caught over 40 fish herself that day. It was just unbelievable. How many fish she was pulling in. So she's usually the good one.
You need to teach her that holding technique.
Exactly. I know.
You stole my line. That's what I was going to say.
I
You
know.
have not. You got to get it out.
Well, see,
You
I
gotta
usually
get
don't catch up much
perspective.
fish, so I don't get a
He's
hold of
not
them
used
much.
to worrying about that.
Got you.
That
This
was
is
a
a
good one.
great photo, man.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
great.
actually that's not doctored anything. That's at Seabrook, close to where I live. That was on the beach. Her and I, she started wanting to do some beach fishing, so started doing a little bit of that in the evenings. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, very good. Darren, how about you?
Yeah, I don't think I have any pictures to share. But there you
You
go. Yeah.
don't think you have any pictures to share?
Been married. That's Catherine. Been married over 27 years. That's our son, David. He turns 25 next month. Working, at a job he really enjoys. It's he's very pleased to be doing what he's doing, working hard, and we couldn't be more proud of him.
Yeah. I've got to ask you, how did you subvert getting wearing a headdress like everybody else? What did
Well,
you?
there's only so many to go around. They're in high demand, and on Turkey Day, everybody wants the turkey hat, so I got left without. So there's my dog, some family friends, and we do the turkey trot every year. We've done it 26 years in a row now. So rain or sleet or shine, we're out there.
How far is the turkey trot? Is that a 5K, 10K? What we got?
It's a 5K and a 7 mile. Most of the time, I have to admit, we do the 5K.
Yeah, with full headgear, or do they take it off during the race?
It depends on the weather, man. Sometimes those have been in high demand.
I hear you.
That's Wrigley Field. We were I'm sorry, that's Boston.
Yeah, I saw Fenway in the back. I know it's kind of
Fenway.
hard to see.
We've been to Wrigley a few times too, but that's Fenway. We were doing college tours and stopped by to catch a baseball game.
Ah, excellent.
Well, guys, we wanted to take a moment since we have you two both to bounce this idea off of. If you had to pick one piece of advice that you were going to give to today's packaged ice man, or woman, what is it that you would tell to them? Someone that is looking to become, an important part of the industry, looking to grow their business. Whoever wants to jump in, go ahead and share your advice.
Go ahead, Darren.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, if it was a new person, I was going to say, don't do it. No. But if they're already in, it's too late. They're pregnant, right? No, I kid. This business has been very, very good to me personally. But I think, and I did listen to all of your podcasts. I think we're, number 11?
11.
That's right. Wow.
So I listened to them all. And I think it's the common theme that I think a lot of people said. I think the networking is just invaluable in this industry. We've had so many people that have come and gone throughout Reddy Ice and just others that I know. And one common theme that I consistently hear is that folks that come from other industries, they're just amazed at the camaraderie in this industry, even the respectfulness of competitors and things like that. I think it's more of a type of family. It's tight knit. And so I think the networking is probably, the best. Get involved with the associations, the IPIA, the regionals. I think it's the best thing that somebody can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd echo that. Get to know as many people as you can, learn from people that have been down that road before. From a business and financial side, I would say mind your P&Ls, understand your revenue, your expenses. Be as organized as you possibly can. Try to touch it every day. Stay on top of your AR. I mean, it's the same for any business, but there's a lot of good in this industry, and I would reach out and learn as much as you could from as many people as you could. Join the associations. There's people that are willing to explain the path that they've been on. What they've learned and what more importantly what they've learned not to do. I think there's a lot of value out there, a lot of wisdom. So get involved.
Yeah, I love the one that you guys did with Dave Bryan. I thought that was classic. Just, you could really see the passion in him, and that was really cool. His story and everything was really cool to hear.
His story about, how he really got into the ice business on a bet.
That was unbelievable. I didn't even know that. Darren actually did his acquisition.
I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he lost a bet.
You got to see the podcast. It was pretty amazing to hear that story. Yeah.
Well, and part of the vision with this podcast is just bringing those stories and those experiences to everyday people that may never meet in person, right? So if you're on the other side of the country and maybe you don't go to all the different conventions and everything, we're hoping that we can share some of those experiences, the advice and the different ups and downs of Icemen all over the country or around the world together. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to jump into an icebreaker. So this, Darren, this is directed to you. There's a couple people. What's up with the white pants? I mean, what's going on with white pants? I've heard several people tell me white pants. There's a story, so you got to help us out here.
Well, this is actually a distributor conference in Miami, one of the many places that Brian and I have had a good time. We went to South Florida, even before then. But this was a white party, and so everyone's wearing white. But I like the pants so much, I guess I kept wearing them. I try to rock the white pants as often as I can, bringing them back in style. And you're surprised at where you see them now. But I'd venture to say I was one of the early adopters to bringing white pants back.
Yeah, so we just want to hop in and talk about some stories. So, if we see something, and you're talking about the Bowflex commercial earlier. Here you're looking fairly buff there, Darren. So, is this at the same lake that you're wake surfing?
That is, but that's just the sun. The sun does.
Sun adds 20 pounds in muscle. Is that what it does?
He's pretty buff.
That's just the sun.
I need to spend more time in the sun.
Yeah, we all. I think we'll go after the podcast if we got any left. So see if that'll help us go. So
don't let him fool you. He just come to the gym.
So I enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy the mountains. That's one of those 14ers up there near Telluride. That was on July 4th weekend about a couple of years ago, and I was able to get up there and enjoy the view.
No. When I saw this, you don't have a backpack on. I realized you could set it off to the side. I mean, you look like you haven't climbed. It looked like somebody dropped you off in a helicopter, right? I mean, or did you climb up? I was just,
don't you
think?
Well,
that's
Photoshop.
That's the camera. I did shed my backpack. I haven't seen an easy 14er yet, and this was. I guess I was struggling to smile there. I was holding my breath or something, but
well, you did a good job, man. You really look very. You don't look winded at all up there. So
that's because I was on my back for about 20 minutes catching my breath. Probably.
Now, were you with anybody else, or was this who went with you on this particular trip?
No, I climbed that solo.
Did you really? Cool. Dang, that is adventurous. So how about here?
That was a mutual buddy, Michael of ours. That was his 50th birthday party at my golf club, and Darren came into town, and we had a big time that day. Yeah, doing a little golfing.
Gotcha. Who's better golfer?
Me, for sure. It's the only thing I'm better than him at. It's the only thing.
All right, tell us about you and your son here.
Yeah, this brings a smile to my face. This was my son's graduation, and I thought we would have a family trip, but also tag in some fun. I'm a big Hemingway fan. The Sun Also Rises. That's in Spain. This is in Pamplona, Spain, particular. And we ran with the bulls. And after we ran with the bulls, this is the arena where they feed you in. And I thought it was so cool. We get to the arena after we run with the bulls, and it's an amazing experience. But then we get there, and I thought, how cool! Everybody here is cheering us on, about what we've done. How special is that? And then they let the bulls out into this arena, and it didn't take me long to realize we're the entertainment now. The bulls are chasing us around, and my kid's out there being a kid. He's 18, and he's playing with the bulls. And after about 30, 40 minutes of that, I said, that's it. We've had enough fun. We're out of here. But that was a heck of an experience for his graduation present, and just a present to me to spend time with him and check something off that is pretty unique.
Yeah, your son, he has no issues with meniscus in his knees. I mean, he's able to move and dart out. How close a call did you have in running in, or did you get brushed up by a bull?
Ironically, yeah, the bull was coming at both of us, and I pushed him one way and I went the other way. The bull followed me, and it was gaining on me. So I'm running along the side, and it was going to get me. So I hopped over the fence. I hopped over the little railing. And they sweep by, and I'm there, laughing how close it was. And the security comes down, and they're like, "Oh no, hombre, back in the ring." So that's when it was just solidified. We're the entertainment for everybody there. It was a bit of a surprise, but a lot of fun, heck of a lot of fun, and a special thing to do.
Would your son corroborate that story that you didn't push him into the bull, you pushed him away from the bull?
Yeah, he would. And ironically, a couple years later, he did a semester abroad in Barcelona, and he and his buddies went up and ran with the bulls again. So he's probably the only 25-year-old I know that has run with the bulls twice.
That's awesome. So
the apple didn't fall far. He enjoyed it.
So we almost needed to call you councilman. Is this right? Or president? Sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah.
This is like a roast.
Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth.
I kind of feel like maybe Brian needs to talk about this picture.
Yeah. So Darren,
this was not president. Hold on. This was not president. This was. I've been involved with City of Dallas. I was involved for a long time. I was on park board and some other boards. And then it was, then the seat became open, and I ran for city councilman, not president. But there was a crowded field, no excuses. I came in second. That was a near miss, if you ask me. I got to spend some time with my family that otherwise would have been taken over by the City of Dallas.
Well, we got some cool things, and got some cool swag and T-shirts and stuff. I can't remember who did that, who put the president on there, but I know my kids used to wear the T-shirts and all that. No, Darren's being humble. That's a pretty big role in Dallas City Council. So pretty cool that he even attempted it.
All right. Well, we've got Brian. It's your turn, my friend. So.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's a good thing there's not audio to that thing, because that was one of the adventures. We were actually having one of our conferences for Reddy down in South Florida. I can't remember how many years this ago, Darren, probably 6 or 7. And Darren called me and said, "Hey, you want to go to the Super Bowl in Key West the weekend before?" And sure. So we ended up going down, and we watched the Super Bowl on the beach. That's a picture right there. Looks like, what was it, the Rams and the Patriots, I think, that year. Yep. So yeah, one of the coolest Super Bowls I think I've ever seen on the big screen right there on the beach.
Hey, and don't worry, Brian, in production, post-production, whatever we want to call it, believe me, we're going to have audio. So
that's good, because
yes.
I don't think I was feeling any pain in that cab ride. We were off to some adventure in that cab. We were back in Miami, I think, at that point, but we were having a ball that day for sure.
Yeah, girls just want to have fun, Brian.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, how about this?
Another adventure. We were out at Darren's lake house, and again, he said, "Hey, man, you want to go to a high school football game?" And I'm like, why in the hell would I want to go to a high school football game? And it was one of the coolest things ever. High school football in Texas is like probably college football. And so it was when Art Briles went to, what is it, Darren?
Mount Vernon.
Vernon. And so we went, and it was the craziest high school football game I've ever seen.
So when Art Briles lost his job at Baylor, he was ostracized for a while.
His rehab stint here.
Yeah,
he was trying to get back into the game, and the Mount Vernon Tigers hired him. So Brian and I went to see Art Briles whip up on the other team. I don't know who they played, but it was a ridiculous score.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right, so we saw this connection here, and so
Oh yeah.
Brian, you are definitely all about fishing and chickens, apparently.
Yeah. So again, you never know what to get from the Cowboys. So this was years ago, and he kept saying, "Hey man, did you see I endorsed you on LinkedIn?" And I don't pay that much attention to LinkedIn. And finally, I saw it, and I had an endorsements for chickens and fishing, which I thought was fun because I didn't even know those could be endorsements. So that's from the Cowboy right there.
All right, and we've already talked a good bit about Cody
Ooh, Cody
Jinks.
Jinks, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So
So
there's the hippie.
what's up with the
Yeah.
bandana, man? What you
Wow,
got?
like father, like son.
Yeah, well, I mean, originally the long hair and the beard came from I lost a bet, NFL bet with my daughter, and so I can't remember what I had to, or she had to do, but I lost the bet obviously, and so she gets uptight when I cut my hair and my beard, and so a lot of times it's easier to wear a bandana, and so that was one of those times. I'm usually in a bandana or a cowboy hat.
Yeah, so you got that from your father, is that right?
There you go. There's Dad. There he is,
His,
Pop.
his idol, no doubt. His
That
idol.
is my idol. Yeah.
That's right, and then it goes down to grandson. So
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, there you go. I like it.
all the way
That's good.
across.
I like it.
Well, thanks for letting us have a little bit of fun. So I'll turn it over to Jeff. So
Yeah, guys, we really appreciate you just being able to share all these different stories with us. We want to know, do you have any plans that you can tell us about, any future adventures or trips that you guys have on the books?
Well, it's interesting you say that because Darren and I usually sit down, usually around the first year, and Darren's a big planner, so he usually plans out his whole year of all his adventures, and the ones you see that I'm not in, usually he'll ask me, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to climb any 14ers, I don't want to do the Via Ferrata anymore, so he does those on his own. So no, I think we've got a raft trip planned. I know this summer, and a few other things up our sleeve that we're thinking about doing. So we usually have quite a few adventures spread out throughout the year. So I'm sure there'll be some good ones this year.
one day maybe the BTI hosts will get an invite somewhere,
Oh,
Jeff.
Heck
so
yeah, man.
we can go.
Heck yeah. We're
A few
always
more
up for an adventure.
concerts, a few more concerts, a few more lake trips.
Yeah, we do have some concerts. We got another Red Rocks coming up. Ryan Bingham at Red Rocks we're going to. We've got tickets for that. And can't remember what else. I think Whitewater Amphitheater down in Texas, Raft in the River. We'll probably see a concert down there. So always a good time.
Somebody's going skiing at Telluride.
Somebody's going skiing. I'm taking my daughter skiing for her birthday at Darren's place. He's always gracious to let us stay at his place in Telluride. And so get to do that and hopefully a little more skiing.
Well, we have one more icebreaker, and then we have a final question that we want to ask both of you guys, and just get your input on that. But the icebreaker, I'll let that one go, and I'll talk about this real quick, and Jeff will kind of wrap us up here. But we talked, y'all's friendship there. Who is the most competitive between the two of you guys?
That's tough. I don't know. I think we're both competitive, but I don't know.
All right, let me ask it a different way. Who wins then? And you kind of alluded to it a little while ago, Brian.
The only thing I win in is golf usually, and everything else he wins. So I would say him probably.
I'd say we're both competitive. It depends on the task that's at hand, but I think we're both competitive. We both have strengths. More importantly, we have fun competing, whether it's whether it's horseshoes or golf or skiing or surfing, whatever it is. It's just fun to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So last question, I suppose. Before I ask this, I'll just remind you, everyone, we're coming to you from the RouteMan Studios at KCS headquarters in Pelham, Alabama. We thank you so much for joining us for this episode and listening to us just kick back with these ice guys and sharing some stories and some wisdom about the industry. Guys, wanted to ask as we close, if you hadn't had a career in the ice industry, what path would you have chosen? What would you see yourself having done?
Go first, Darren.
Yeah, I love what I do. It's not just in the ice business of what I like about it, but it's connecting with people with similar backgrounds of mine, smaller, family-owned companies, small to mid caps. I love what I do. It's building a relationship, and it's being able to change those lifestyles going forward, whether it's retire someone to travel or, build a college nest egg for their kids to go to school, which changes the trajectory and everything going forward. I'm a big fan of education. But I'm very privileged and lucky to be where I am and what I'm doing. And if I had to pick another career, it would be, very similar to what I'm doing now. Even though it may not have been in the ice business, I do love what I do. Now, what I would like to do, right? If I could pay the bills, I'd rather be a professional wake surfer or an extreme mountain filmer and photographer. Someone like Jimmy Chin. I think that would be ideal, but not sure I'd ever get the opportunity to do that. But if one's dreaming, that would be my dream.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we wanted. That was a long-winded answer to tell us that, but yeah, no, that's really what we wanted to know. So no, that's fantastic.
So Brian, what do you think?
Well, I echo Darren's comments. I've been very fortunate in this industry. Has been very good to me and my family. I think if I wasn't doing it, something else in business, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Luckily, the folks that, I work for with Reddy, they let me, explore that creative passion inside me as an entrepreneur. I think if I wasn't doing this, I think I'd be doing something in aviation, big aviation buff. I'm a private pilot. Was in the military, in the Army. I kick myself sometimes that I didn't fly helicopters in the Army. So I think probably something in aviation I would be doing if I wasn't doing this.
So I have to ask you, Brian, real quick. So I've been noticing whenever we go to your larger photo on here, are you crooked or did somebody install your light switch crooked? Because
no, I'm crooked. See,
he's crooked.
My computer is crooked.
I got you.
I have a book under it.
All right, it was just curious. I had to get that off my chest.
I like the detail though. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you both enough. I've known both of you for quite some time now. You guys have always been super friendly, and we've stricken how do you say that? I'll say stricken today. So, a friendship at the conferences and stuff, but it's really great to find out, how close you guys are. And, like I said, the importance of having, friends, outside of your immediate family, I think are extremely important. And, I'm envious of y'all's relationship. So, but thank y'all both very, very much for coming and joining us today. So, Jeff,
thank you guys. Enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, thank you guys. We appreciate what you guys do for the industry. Appreciate what you guys do. Building those relationships. You guys know exactly what we're talking about. So happy to be here and best of luck to you going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you both.
Right.
Raising hell with the hippies and the cowboys. They don't care about no trends. They don't care about songs that sell.